This video, I'm going to be showing you higher self manifestation. This is the key to manifesting in 5D level of consciousness. It makes the process so much easier, and I'm going to show you exactly what to do. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron, and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you that of what is called higher self manifestation, understanding how you can let the divine flow through you to allow things to happen in your life easier than ever. And this goes beyond that of the Western idea, the Western philosophy of do and ego. And it's not always the ego is a bad thing, but the ego, when we become identified with it, that can be dangerous. But the part of it that what I'm intending to bridge are two different philosophies. And I found in my own life that this makes the process so much easier. For the longest time, for probably 2 or 3 years, even while I was making these YouTube videos, there was a mode I was in to where it was like my ego was manifesting things. I wanted this. I was doing this every single day in order to get a certain result. But it was actually when I went to, I had an experience in Costa Rica where I just realized that I was trying so hard to create things in my life and that I was resisting things. I was resisting at the level of intending from the ego and wanting more and taking action. I realized that I was resisting even a greater jump in ability or a greater jump in what I was creating in my life because I was holding it in a place with my ego thinking this is the best case scenario. So what happened is I ended up letting go and trusting my higher self to bring things to me. And as I trusted that, and I just simply knew it is done. I just simply knew that things happen easier than ever. Over the next 3 months of going through that transformation, my life was so much more easy. I wasn't trying so hard. Things were just happening, and I was really proving to myself that reality doesn't have to be this thing that you have to work really hard for. When I first started my channel, I was rewarded for taking massive action because as I was making daily videos, I was getting much better results. So that was the way I thought reality worked. When I'm taking and doing a lot of things, then results and success will come. But what I realized is that it's more about state of being. How do you feel? Are you enjoying the process? I saw that I wasn't really enjoying the process as much. I was trying so hard to get somewhere I currently wasn't that I was resisting, and I was putting all these self-imposed limitations on myself. And when I let that go and I started to have fun, it increased my state of being. And then I just started to know that I can trust my higher self or the divine, because we all have a higher self that is beyond our physical ego structure, that is closer, not closer to the divine, but in a way more embodying the divine characteristics of who we are. And when we align with it, it brings things to us easier than ever without having to try so hard and without resisting it along the way. And you learn that with this combination of letting go and allowing the divine to flow through, to show you these things, to give or to for you to be in concert with it. Now, what I thought I would do is explain a little bit about the difference between the ego desires and the higher self. Because when you start to delineate and see what the difference is, you can then see, am I wanting things from my ego or am I wanting things from my higher self? So here's some of the noticeable differences that I've noticed between these. Now, the ego wants to control how things happen, wants to control the circumstances. If you want to attract a relationship in your life, it thinks in its mind, oh, this is the way it's going to happen. I'm going to go to this yoga class. I'm going to meet this kind of person. And then sometimes that'll block you, because then what if you're at the coffee shop and there's someone else there that may be perfect for you, but you may not actually see them because you're still thinking about controlling it from the level of going to yoga. I didn't see anyone at yoga today, as there's someone right here that could be an amazing fit for you, or it could be, someone that you have a deep connection with. But control will also cause resistance. I go through phases of this, to be honest with you. I go through phases of when I'm trying to control things in my life, and I'm like, wait, the control in of itself is causing the resistance because I'm trying to manipulate events versus allowing them to flow through in the way they're meant to. So the higher self works with flow and synchronicity. It allows things to happen. And the higher self is of a higher vibrational energy. A higher vibrational energy. So your higher self, which is a high vibe, and also when we're talking about the higher self, let's talk about 5D consciousness. Fifth dimensional state of consciousness is more so connected to our higher self. It's when there's less time in between what we want to create in our life and what actually happens. We're moving into 5D level of consciousness in this lifetime, and it's really cool. We're moving in a time when things manifest easier than ever. Have you felt that? Have you felt like anything you intend for happens quicker than it used to? It was like time is going by extraordinarily fast. And it's because the vibration on the planet is raising. And because it's raising, we all are connected to the planet. We all are going through a similar experience. So with the higher self, it comes from a high vibration state of consciousness. The ego, here's another thing about the ego. The ego likes symbols. The ego likes symbols. So for example, a symbol would be money. A symbol would be maybe a relationship. Now, higher self, you can still be connected to money in a relationship. However, it's in a different way. You see, the ego always desires more. And a lot of times that desiring more will emphasize that I don't currently have enough, therefore creating more resistance. Whereas the higher self goes straight to source. So you see, that's the difference. Symbols is money. You want money. Why do you really want money? You want money because of the freedom and the security that it can provide for you, which is an emotion. Your higher self knows you can go straight to the source of feeling more freedom or security by knowing that the emotions within you already exist for you to feel that. So knowing that, you can go straight to the source. So the key to this process of higher self and ego is understanding where are the desires coming from, and can you go straight to the source? When you set the intention to first off raise your vibration, you then start to connect more to your higher self. Because your higher self is meeting you halfway. In a way, your higher self is emitting off a frequency that you can hit, that you can reach, and then you just have to raise your vibration up there, and then there's this alignment. So the higher self also works based on alignment. Now here's something else that I notice. And it's kind of like a purity as well, a purity of intention. Now, what I found to be very powerful is to have an intention to add value to either other people or with your purpose. Your higher self is connected to your purpose, whereas the ego may not want just the money that it brings, the side effects. Set the intention that you find out what a higher purpose is for you, if you don't know it already. For me, it's making YouTube videos. The more good I put out in the world, the more good comes back to me. And that's what I've noticed. So I set the intention of adding as much, not because it's just going to get me more of what I want. It feels good to contribute to other people. It feels good to give. Your higher self is connected to this larger state of consciousness, whereas your ego has a tendency to feel separated. And this larger state of consciousness wants to add value to the whole. It's almost like the more you are at service to the universe, the more the universe gives back to you. The more opportunities, the more synchronicity the universe gives back to you. So what I focus on with my higher self is understanding that the more value I give to other people, the more good happens anyways. And having that purity of intention I've found to be so incredibly powerful. But I'll be honest, I have to remind myself of this sometimes, because what happens is my ego tries to get back in and tries to control everything. It tries to control what's happening, how things are going to happen. And if it doesn't happen to the blueprint in my mind, I start to feel this resistance. I posted this thing on Instagram a while ago that says, the more you check, the more you wreck. It's because a lot of times what people do is they set the intention to experience something in their life, they plant a seed, and then they go back every 30 minutes and they dig up the seed to see if it's grown. which causes resistance because then the seed can't actually do what it wants. But you see, the seed in concert with the higher self in the universe will naturally grow that which you want to grow. It will do the work for you. But the ego thinks, no, not only do I have to water it, but I have to will myself to let it sprout up. I have to keep checking it to make sure everything's okay with it. But the key is knowing you can allow things to happen. You can let the universe do its job because it's already in the process of doing that. You plant seeds and you add water, it naturally grows. So in the same way, what I have found is that it's this bridge of action and then trust in the divine. Trust in the divine. Trust in the divine to bring certain things to you. Trust in the divine, knowing that it's a part of who you are. And part of trusting the divine is just getting into a high energy state. And I'll tell you right now that the best way that I've learned how to do this, and it's the most simple way, because here's something else the ego likes. Seriousness. What? Seriousness. The ego loves to be serious. The ego loves, I said it was going to manifest like this. And I imagined it like this, and it did not happen. Why did it not happen? Seriousness. But your higher self works in state of being, and it works on fun. So have more fun. The best amount of abundance I've ever brought in my life was when I was talking about this transformation of just allowing my higher self and just having more fun. I was recently listening to a podcast. I think I shared this in one other video. And in this podcast, it was talking to this guy named Rich Froning, who's like the most strong man in the world when it comes to like CrossFit games and stuff like that. He's won a whole bunch of those tournaments. And one tournament was like the third or fourth one he was in. He was losing a couple. There's like 12 different categories, 12 different competitions this week of like the CrossFit games. And in 2 or 3 of the competitions, he was like 7th place, 30th place, 2nd place. He wasn't competing as well as he thought he should. And his wife, he saw his wife, and his wife saw he was all flustered. He's like, oh, I'm not doing as good as I thought I would. I thought it'd be here. What do you mean? His wife goes, are you having fun? And he goes, what do you mean am I having fun? I'm in like 7th place, blah, 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 blah. She goes, if you're not having fun, we're going home right now. She just put her foot down like that. And he just thought about it for a minute. And then he went back with the intention of having fun, and he won. So you see, fun increases state of being. Fun also makes things less serious and takes things off a pedestal so that you more so resonate with it. So this is the key. It's connecting to your higher self. It's having fun, and it's knowing that you can be in alignment for something that adds value to the universe as well. Now, one of the most powerful meditations I have is on connecting to your higher self. And it will show you how to connect to your higher self and how to connect to this energy stream and start to let go in a very powerful way. If you listen to it for 21 days, I think it will transform your life. You'll be a completely different person. And in the top of the description box below, you will see that video that you can listen to that meditation for 21 days. It's a higher self transformation meditation. I put a post on Instagram last night before I went to bed, and I said, what is the most powerful meditation that you've seen me do or that you've watched? And a lot of people said it was a higher self meditation. So I'm going to link that below. Listen to it for 21 days. Watch how your life begins to change. On the other side of this, understand that you are a divine being, dreaming you are a separate ego. Remember who you are. Connect to your heart center. And as you do so, you will raise your frequency and things will happen easier than ever for you. Things are meant to be fun. Things are meant to be easy. Things are meant to be light. And the more we realize this, the more we're in this energy state, the more amazing opportunities we perceive of our life. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you like it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification gear so you can see the daily vids that I do. And other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.